Hi friends, welcome or welcome back. Today I'm going to be painting one side of this spread of faces that I've drawn to practice skin tones. I have been feeling a bit rusty with skin tones lately, and I wanted to just experiment and see what doing different techniques would achieve. So I was trying with this page to paint with very saturated colors and do the pooling, I think is what it's called, where you put down a concentrated bit of color and then drag it out with a clean brush of water. And then I was also doing, some thinner, more transparent layers. And I put this Payne's Gray in the hair and in the background because I wanted something that was really bold and dark, but didn't take away too much from the saturation of the faces. And I also wanted to experiment a little bit more with looser washes, so not trying to make everything really sharp and crisp, or even just drawn out a lot. I've been really enjoying art lately where the texture of the watercolor is allowed to just be there. So I didn't fully go ham on that technique for this round, but I might try that for the other three faces. So I probably won't make that a video, but if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that. Probably. So I think I went a little bit dark, a little too fast on these faces, and they ended up being quite orange in the end, which I'm not super happy about. So you'll see me try to dilute down the saturation with a duller blue color multiple times, and it doesn't really work that well. And of course, I kept going over those parts that I had dulled down with more saturated color because I didn't like the way that the more blue shadows were looking. So I think definitely shadow color is something that I need to work on. I did try a technique where I put down like a brighter orange shadow, like a really warm shadow, and then put in a blue shadow while it was still wet to get a nice gradient there. So that worked fairly well, but I am noticing that I don't really like the extremely realistic style of painting. Not that these are extremely realistic by any means, but just the more realistic color tones is not my favorite. So I don't know. I'm trying to balance having fun color with also trying to make more cohesive color schemes that also sometimes include, normal skin tones. Does that make sense at all? I want to have the skill set to paint realistic skin tones if that's something that I want to do. So that's why I'm practicing them. Especially because not all illustration works with unrealistic, like bright green skin. So I feel like this is an important skill set for me to have as I develop my art more. So I kept going in with this super strong red color and just dragging it out, and I'm not sure why I kept adding more of it because it was really strong and kind of makes them look like they're sunburned. I was also jumping around the page a lot between these two faces, trying to keep a really saturated color because a lot of times I do dull out skin too much when I try to paint it realistically, but I think I need to find a balance there between oversaturation and over desaturation. Yeah, I could have said that better, but you get what I mean. I also feel like I need to expand my range of skin tone values that I can paint, because the model of the first face had actually pretty light skin, and I do like how vibrant it turned out. And I think a lot of times with watercolor, especially when painting lighter skin, it's easy to stop before you really have captured it well. But then some of the models on the other page that I haven't painted yet, and I'm not painting in this video, have darker skin, which I'm really need to practice, because I feel like what I tend to do is just keep layering the same colors, when in reality there's a lot of different colors that are in darker skin tones, especially in cooler tones. For example, like a light skin tone that has cool colors will usually appear more on like the pinkish reddish side, but a darker skin tone with cool colors is often more almost purple or blue even in some photos. So that's a thing that I need to be cognizant of, and actually, use my reference photos when I'm doing studies, because I'm bad about doing that. I tend to just, sketch and then start painting and stop looking at the photo because I don't want to anymore. And I like working that way when I'm doing more finished pieces, but when I'm doing a spread to learn like this, I feel like it's important for me to actually pay attention to what's going on instead of what I think might be going on. So, yeah, I mean, I know I've talked about references before and using them, but I guess I can give you my updated thoughts. I think references are great. I think if you want to grow as an artist, you really need to be either looking at reference photos or at live models if you have access to that, because your brain has a preconceived notion of what things look like and what they should look like, and that's not usually that accurate. And the more that you study something and figure out what it actually looks like, the easier it will be for you to have an accurate picture in your brain of what it does look like. So, for example, with faces, I used to really be not great at drawing faces, and everyone has to start at that place of the elementary school faces with the little almond eyes, the circle in the middle, and the little heart-shaped mouth, and sometimes not even a nose. And then you have to learn about the planes of the face and all of that, and then at some point you start being able to pull the planes out of your own brain and draw faces without a reference. And I know for me personally, I have more to do that way. I think references are super important when you're doing studies, so that you can get your brain to a place where you can pull things out of your brain and they feel accurate. And I just don't like looking at them when I'm actually painting a big piece, because I feel like it gets me out of the mood of the piece, if that makes sense. Okay, well, I've talked too much, so I will see you next week. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. There wasn't much of a topic here, but I hope it was thought-provoking in some way, or at least entertaining. So have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next week. Bye.